Hey, welcome to another Half the Battle Q&A. Let's delve straight into the questions, shall we? Question 1. Are you aware of any bootleg G.I. Joe toys, and if so, any of them cringing or laugh-worthy? There actually haven't been that many bootlegs of G.I. Joe toys. Sure, there have been toys that use the same body construction, like the corpse figures, but those aren't bootlegs. The only ones I'm really aware of happened in the early 2000s, with the year 2000 line from G.I. Joe being bootlegged, and they didn't do a very good job of it, but it wasn't really cringeworthy either. The main difference between the two was that the bootlegs didn't have articulation in their arms or legs. Other than that, they were pretty faithful duplicates of the original, down to the color schemes. So not really cringeworthy or funny, just boring. The only really noteworthy bootleg has to do with G.I. Joe, but it's not a bootleg of a G.I. Joe figure. It's actually from Fun School. You remember that Indian company we talked about earlier? They had a toy called Superhero. I'll put it on the screen now. Yeah, that's Superman, using the body parts from G.I. Joe figures. So it's a bootleg of Superman by way of the molds they got from Hasbro to create their own G.I. Joe line in India. We live in a weird world sometimes. I'd review it, but I don't have it, and it's pretty rare and expensive to get. Plus, there's not much to talk about really. I mean, what you see is what you get. It's Superman. Done badly. As a G.I. Joe figure. Second question. If you got a G.I. Joe figure made in your likeness, what would your codename be and your specialization? Well, I kinda already have a figure in my likeness, just one that I constructed myself. He showed up in a video that's now offline, the old introduction to my series that was on Blip TV. I'll put up a photo of him as well. As for a codename and specialization, well, that's actually something I've already had from since when I was a kid. You see, in Belgium, Hasbro created the G.I. Joe Club. It was a way to get mail-order exclusives, such as Hooded Cobra Commander. And when you applied to the club, you got a G.I. Joe ID, which you could put a code name on and specialization. I picked a code name Leopard, and my specialization was Recon. And I guess it's still that to this day. Granted, I don't really look like a G.I. Joe guy, but there wasn't an option at the time to join Cobra. Damn bias, Hasbro. Third and final question for today. Could you do something about the idea of Scoop being a Crimson Guard, as he appeared in Operation Dragonfire? Well, I've actually already reviewed Scoop, and that episode is somewhere on the list. And I talked a bit more about him during the Crimson Guard review. That's not to say I'm done talking about the subject, since there's still Operation Dragonfire. And when I get around to reviewing that, yeah, I'll spend some more time on that topic. I will repeat what I said in my Crimson Guard review. I find it kinda strange that they only ever did this once. Have a Crimson Guard infiltrate the G.I. Joe team. Because it really does seem like that's what they were made for. Alright, next week there'll be another review, so see you later everybody!